All right, lab 17. The description I'm just putting up here so you see that I have it. We're really going to be looking at code. You're just going to complete the program in the code file, sort stl-post.cpp. The instructions are in the CPP file. But real quickly, you don't need any test cases. Make sure you do memory management because you can still lose memory even when you use the STL. Turn in v GitHub, let's do a week from today. So let me go ahead and look in the CPP file. Actually, before I do that, notice when I do, let me look at the make file for you. Compiles it and runs it. That's all we're doing in this class. So you're just fixing a CPP file. Nice and easy. Notice if you make it run, it does a seg fault. So you're going to need to fix that. All right. IO stream algorithm vector string. You are free to use any other, I guess, functionality of the STL. So go ahead and include whatever else you want up there. Not a problem. Hey, look, I'm creating a student object. It has an MS student ID. It has its name. And then it has a bunch of character data. It has 10K of character data. Just assume that that's a bunch of information we have to store about each student, just for the sake of argument. ID returns the student ID. You can set the ID. You can print out the student. You can set the name. And then you can get the name. Your code must never call the set name function, because that would be cheating. Don't do that. Oh, and set ID. Don't ever set the IDs or the names in the code you add. Obviously, the code I have is going to set it, but the code you have, don't do that. Otherwise, you're cheating. All right. So some initial data, some initial names, because I really didn't want to type names out with 10. All right. To do, use insert out of the vector class to get the integers from backup copied into vec. Should be done in one specific insert call, but make a loop if you have to. All right. AKA, add all the students in there. You have the name CJ, his ID is 2. You have the name F, his ID is 5, etc., etc. Okay? You okay, Jonah? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So right after that comment, we need to insert something to add all those people to the,
right,
to that vector.
Because what I'm going to do afterwards is print it out to make sure you did it right. You insert it here, I print it out.
So print is going to output the IDs. What are we adding into the vector? Their IDs?
Wait, what? All right, use insert out of vector. Insert at position this value. Going through this vector of, vector out of the class to get integers from the backup. So you're adding the integers to this vector. I'm sorry, I said it differently earlier. My apologies. Add the integers there. So then I'm going to print out the integers. Now I'm asking you to sort the vector using STL sort. So just call the STL sort to sort those integers that you just put in there. Creating a student array. This is where I set the ID and the names. I'm going to print them out unsorted. And now you're going to sort it. Hint, you're going to have to create that predicate function. Remember how I said you have to sometimes create a custom function in order to sort it? You're going to have to figure out how to do that. Sort them from lowest student ID to highest. Print them out. This is just my code to reset it. Alright, so I haven't talked about this. We discussed in class that sorting students directly could be expensive. Why would that be the case? Let me give you the hint right here. If you're sorting them directly, whenever you swap two students, you're copying 10K of memory. And now let's just say it was a couple of megs, just for the sake of argument. If you're copying all those megs every time you're doing a swap, that could be very expensive. So the next question is, how can we store it more efficiently? I'm pretty sure I'd tell you. Whoops. So instead, if we declare an array of pointers to students, because swapping a pointer is going to be faster than swapping students, and name it pointer student array, initialize the elements so that they are pointing to the contents of the student array. So you're going to have to sit down and think about that. How can you have the vector of student pointers so that they're pointing to the correct location? Now use the STL sort to sort all the pointers. You're going to need a new predicate function for this. This should print it out when you're done. I have it commented out because right now there'd be some errors, compilation errors. So once you have this up to this point, uncomment this function so that I can test to make sure you're doing it right. Now figure out how to sort the standard student array based on the results of the pointer student array to create the new sorted array. This should be an O of n time. And then I'm just going to print out the students. Okay, hold on. Any questions so far? I might be zooming a little fast. Create the pointer array. Pointer student array. That's right here. Sort the pointer student array. Uncomment this to make sure you're doing it right. Now figure out how to update the regular student array using the pointer student arrays so that it's all correct. So that it's sorted, so that the student array is sorted. Let me say that again. Figure out how to use the pointer student array, the PS array, to sort the student array in O of n time. Note that the pointer student array is sorted at that point. It's going to print out the students. Create another array of pointers to students that again point to the students in the S array and name it n, then sort the pointers in descending from Z to A. So now beforehand you're doing it from A to Z. Now you want to do it from Z to A. And this will print it in reverse order. Okay. Any questions? You'll probably be finding the compiler on this one. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of coding. You have to create the functions, which can be some work in order to get that correct. But you got to make sure your syntax is correct. So this is a very syntax-heavy lab. Any questions? Comments? If not, you're going to have an hour and 10 minutes of lab time. All right, hour and 10 minutes of lab.